conservatives that end up mayors of big cities, to be very understated. But Norm was in a big city, and as a big city mayor had to deal with the executive decisions and served remarkably well. In 2002, he ran for the United States Senate to build on his success for the entire state, not just the success in St. Paul. And after we all remember, Senator Coleman has not had any campaign that has sort of been without drama and excitement and interest. If you recall, the incumbent Paul Wellstone passed away during Norm's race in 2002 in a plane crash right before the election. And obviously, Senator Coleman has been dealing with the election since November. The rapid, in Missouri, it's a fine tradition we have had in the past of locating votes and turning elections and all, and perhaps Minnesota has taken our lead on that, and unfortunately he's been fighting hard to maintain his seat in the United States Senate. There's still litigation going on. Perhaps he'll comment during his talk, but ultimately we're most grateful for him to be here, and we're grateful for his service. And to Senator Norm Coleman.
Something that I hadn't thought about for a while. I got elected, first of all, true confession, so I got elected as mayor of St. Paul. The city's got 70% Democrat, 75% as a Democrat, conservative Democrat, ran against the endorsed candidate of the party. Got elected in 1993. Rush Limbaugh had a TV show, and he showed some film clips of the inaugural addresses of a couple of urban mayors, mostly Republicans, but one was a Democrat, and it was me. And he said, I don't know how that guy's a Democrat, but I got to tell you, what he's saying makes a lot of sense. I served for 8 years, didn't raise taxes for 8 years, cut 3/4 of licenses to do business, generated a couple $1 billion of investment on the riverfront. Didn't sign a proclamation making a gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender month in St. Paul. And only because I thought it wasn't government's role to sign proclamations. Ultimately, rejected the ASPE contract a couple of days after I came in office. And literally, when I came into office, the contract, as I recall, was 1993. My budget director to me came to me and said, Mayor, he says, if we don't change this, in 15 years, the city is going to face $200 million of unfunded liability for retiree health benefits, so we've got to do something. Every one of my advisors told me to forget about it. Don't worry about it. It's not your problem. 15 years. You're not going to be there. The city's 90% union. My lawyers even unionized in St. Paul. Everybody's in the union. So why fight it? You're just taking office. And I thought, my son, Jake, was 8 at the time. So Sarah was 4. I thought 8 years was a blink of the eye. And I really thought to myself, 8 years, that was just yesterday. So 16 years, 15 is going to be 2 blinks. Jake, by the way, now is 23. 6'5". Jake Williams. I did reject the contract, renegotiated it, took care of the contract. By the way, the contract, as I recall, the provisions, we provided for the city retiree benefits for health, for retiree spouse, I believe, dependent up to age 24, for the life of the retiree without employee contributions at that time. It was 1993. The world is changing. Bottom line, by the way, is that had I not done that, 1993, 94, 2015 years, 2008, 2009, the city of St. Paul today would be facing bankruptcy. No one's even thought about it. It's not even an issue. Because we took action then. Well, lo and behold, when I decided to run for re-election, the year before I ran for re-election, having fought all these fights, by the way, the only people get mad at me was asking the unions, the DFL. I have to be pro-life, and as May, don't do much about life, but I have to be profound respect for human life. And so the folks are mad at me, the activists on the left, but the public seemed pretty happy. I switched parties in '96, had Jack Kemp come to my house, and made the transition. I got elected with 59% of the vote in 1997. So conservative ideas work, and you can win even in Democrat areas. And my life experience is a reflection of that. I'm in the process right now of still being involved in an election contest, the election that has never ended, 2008 Senate race against Al Franken. And I have been counting and recounting my blessings. votes. I won on election night. It was over 700 votes ahead. I won when we did canvassing of all the election machines. Still a couple hundred votes ahead. I got the recount process. By the way, on the Franklin side, the same folks who did the Washington State case, same team. And they counted, and then he got ahead. Counted absentee ballots, it was not open on election night. Now the margin is 312, and we have 4,400 votes. We've asked Minnesota Supreme Court to open every one of these ballots. The ballots that had, if these individuals lived in another county, the votes would have been counted. And whether your vote counts should depend on where you live. In addition, there were at least 100-something votes, 100 net votes for Franklin, particularly in Minneapolis, that we believe were double votes, more votes than voters in those precincts. It shouldn't happen in America. And so we have a case for the Supreme Court. It was argued on Monday. And I'm still very, very confident. The Supreme Court comes to a conclusion that whether your vote counts should depend on where you live over the rest of the ballots. They admittedly come from strong Republican areas. That's because the Democrat areas, the votes already counted. And so I've got 4,000 votes that we hope the court says count the votes. When they count the votes, we'll live with the outcome. We're waiting. We're waiting. I'm a man of great faith. We've asked them on the race. I don't wring my head. I don't spend my days, not be anxious about nothing. I'm not wringing my hands. I'm very, very hopeful and confident. And we'll see how this plays out. I am continuing to raise my voice and thrilled to be here. Thrilled to be here. This is kind of a nice connection between St. Louis and St. Paul. St. Paul, by the way, is the beginning of the Napa Network. It's the greatest river system in the world, the Mississippi. So it's nice to be in this city, which is a nice little settlement on my river. So, I read about my old history, and I see the city was named for King Louis IX of France. In addition to being King William was declared a saint, which puts him one up on Obama or now. I haven't seen the latest issue of Time Magazine and Newsweek, so I don't know whether that comment is accurate. In this river town, the heart of the country, let me thought about the Mississippi River. It begins as a creek up in northern Minnesota that you can actually walk across. You can literally walk across the Mississippi in northern Minnesota. It winds its way through pine forests and farmlands and small towns. By the time you get to my city, St. Paul, it's big, maybe 3 iron or something. You get 5 iron, you can get across it. It's a working river. It feeds our economy, it feeds our spirit. Those of you, by the way, who attended the Republican National Convention was in St. Paul last year. You got a chance to see it. Continues south, makes its way to the Gulf of Mexico, drains the majority of our states and most of the continent in North America. It's one of the great waterways on this earth. Political movements are like rivers. They start as small, as all really important things do. But slowly, instead they pick up tributaries of strength until they become a force unimaginable compared to its source. And I believe with all my heart that we are at the headwaters of something very powerful in this country. The first lines of the next chapter of our country's history are being written in gatherings like this and at tea parties. Connections are being made among like-minded people all across America, people with a vision, a path back to a distinctive American greatness. We believe in the greatness of America. The Mississippi starts as a trickle and becomes a great river. We can too if we focus not on our differences, but on gathering our power and focusing on the mouth of our river way, way, way downstream. Where do we have to go?